Why, hello there. Is modern life starting to get you down? Do you not feel like playing those state-of-the-art systems? PS4, Xbox One, PSVR, or Nintendo Switch? Well then, maybe it's a little bit of a retro gaming that you're in need of. Cup and Ball, the fun game for all. Maybe that's just a little too retro for you. In that case, have you thought about trying the GameCube? That's right, the Nintendo GameCube, the retro console from the future, today! Now just work out where to plug these wires into your 4K TV.
Hello and welcome along to my channel. If you're new here, why don't you hit that subscribe button? So, the Nintendo GameCube, definitely one of my favourite consoles. Came out 3rd May 2002 in the UK. I got it, picked mine up at midnight. I arranged with my manager at work, I was working at a local pizza place at the time, that I had to finish at 11:45 so I could get into town and buy myself a Nintendo GameCube. That was just not an option, that was happening. I mean, the manager was quite nice about it. He even came along with me and queued up, and then got told that as he hadn't pre-ordered it, he was not allowed to get one. I picked the console up. I also picked up 4 games, which were Luigi's Mansion, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Super Monkey Ball, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I think that's the most games I've ever picked up at a launch of a console. Now, the best thing for me about the GameCube was it came out at a time in my life where I was working full time. I was actually living back at home with my mum for a while, and I just had so much disposable income that I just bought games left, right and centre. I didn't have to trade any games away to buy new ones. So my back catalogue for the GameCube, I think I got about 60 games for it, which were all picked up when they originally came out. The GameCube I do have is my original one, although I have recently picked up a American GameCube as well, for reasons that I will go into later in this video. So connecting the GameCube up, I've got this thing. I was really thrilled when I heard about the Eon GCHD. I thought, wow, just a simple plug into the back of the GameCube and I can play through HDMI. I don't have to take the GameCube apart and break it, because let's be honest, I've had this for nearly 20 years now and I don't want to take that risk. But a simple plug and play option. But what are my real thoughts on it? Well, let's find out. So, when I first heard about the Eon GCHD, I watched quite a few videos on it, and a lot of the videos that I'd seen were come from America, and they were talking about how this worked through the went through the digital output. It displayed it in 480p, 480i, which, to be fair, I don't know what that all really means, and I don't really care. It's all about just putting it on the screen for me and what it looks like. And also, there were lots of mentions about progressive scan, and how this used the progressive scan and really made the games look crisp and sharp. Now, unfortunately, in the UK, back then, our TVs ran at a different hertz, and GameCube games in the UK didn't actually support progressive scan. So, you know, it's not a big deal. That's just a small little visual thing, but I can live with that. That's fine. The game still play on my HD TV, and they still look really nice. Admittedly, I have got a American GameCube now, and I've only got one game for it, and the disc drive doesn't work properly, so there won't be any footage of the American GameCube, unfortunately, playing in the background. But I do say that with Progressive Scan, it really does look sharp and nice, and I need to get the disc drive fixed on that GameCube so I can start collecting more games for it. I think the biggest thing that came out of buying this for me was the audio issue that I have. I don't know if everyone has this, and I mean, it wasn't mentioned in any of the reviews, and I know it happens on both of my GameCubes, is that the longer you play, the more out of sync the sound gets on my TV. And this does happen through my capture card as well. So just as an example of the sound drift, this is Super Mario Sunshine, and I've just booted the game up, and as you can see, when I jump, the noise is perfect. Now we're just going to skip to about 15 minutes later after streaming, and you can just see how the sound is no longer in sync. As you can still hear the flip 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 noise even after I've landed on the floor. So the sound is only off a little bit, but the longer you play, the more it goes. I have tweeted Eon, and they did reply to me saying it's probably an issue with my display, and they asked me to email them and sort it out. Okay, this was only 3 days ago, but I've still not actually heard back from them. So Eon has got back to me with a possible solution now for the audio drift that I've been having. I'll leave a link down in the description to the tweet that they sent me. I haven't had a chance to fully investigate this yet, but I'll let you know in a pinned comment if I can get this working. The thing I think that's a little bit of an issue is this wasn't cheap. You know, it was over £100, and the fact that it's just washed off as, well, it's an issue with your display, you know, is a little bit like, okay. You know, it's not like I can just go out and get another display to play it on. I have what I have. It's not the end of the world in the fact that if you just turn the TV over and turn it back to the HDMI where the input is, then the sound goes back into sync. It's just a little bit annoying that it happens at all. And it's also something that I've not seen anyone else talk about. I just wanted to get that out there, and just for people to be aware that it's potentially an issue. Now, I do have the Mark 1, which means I've only got the one HDMI out and just the digital signal. This bit here is just empty. And I know on the Mark 2 they do have the analog out as well, which I think they must have known this audio drift was a bit of a problem, and hopefully the Mark 2 has addressed that. But, you know, the fact that I've got to pay out another £100 to get a Mark 2, it's a little bit hard to swallow. I wish I'd known before about the audio, and I wish I'd realised about the progressive scan. Would I recommend buying one? That depends. It really, really depends. If you really like your GameCube, and I mean, you're going to have to really like it. You're going to need a good collection, you're going to want to play it regularly, then yeah, I think it's a nice little device, and it's very convenient. I like how the games look, I like that it's just a plug-in, bam, and we're ready to go. Whereas my N64 and my Super Nintendo and even my PlayStation 2 are kind of just like stuck in limbo, where they just don't get used at all, just for the sheer fact of it's just hassle to try and get them hooked up. It's a nice bit of hardware, a couple of problems with it, but I'm sure not everyone experiences these. So that's just my thoughts on the Eon GCHD. So how do you run your retro consoles? Have you encountered the same audio drift that I have? Have you managed to find a way of stopping it? Please leave comments down below. And while you're there, hit subscribe for more rambly videos. And until next time, catch you later. Start building up a collection. Jeez, Kelly. Every time I do something, you want attention. This is just a ramble. I'm going to have to go through this and edit quite a bit because I'm just rambling.